Hello Unity developers, this is a video on using Azure App Services with Unity3d. Previously I've done a number of videos using various mobile service plugins for Unity, but mobile services have been migrated to app services. Essentially you get the same stuff, you get a database, you get a custom API, you also get a way to handle identities using social media like Facebook and Twitter, Google and Microsoft accounts. And I've put together this Unity demo with a highscores demo and an inventory demo. So I'm going to follow along with this README, and the first step here is just to create a mobile app. So I'm just going to walk through this process. And I'm going to go to my Azure portal and select New. Then go to Web and Mobile. Then select Mobile App. And all I have to do is enter a name for my app. So I'm going to type in Unity App Services Demo. And hopefully that's unique. Yep. And then I'm going to type in a resource group or use an existing one. I've already set up this Unity3d resource group. And I can select an app service plan. And because this is just a demo, I'm just going to use my free app service plan here. I'm going to pin it to my dashboard and create it. And while that's deploying, I'm going to check out my Unity project here. And I can download it as a zip file, or I can use Git to clone it. So I'm going to copy this to clipboard and I'm going to do a Git clone. So let me just tidy up some stuff. Okay, Git clone. And that's going to save it to the desktop. And now I can open that in Unity. So in Unity, let's open up our App Services Demo project. And this project contains everything that we need. There's no additional JSON utilities or plugins. Everything's self-contained. It has the App Services library already built in, and that's also available on GitHub. There's a link to this at the bottom here, App Services for Unity, so you can import that into your project if it's a new project and you just want to use the library. It's there, and all the documentation there of the APIs also listed. So let's go jump back to Unity here. We also have our prefabs, and this is just to give us some UI around the demos. Some resources for player data demo, inventory items. We have our demo scenes, the highscores demo and inventory demo. And we have our scripts for the demos, so the highscore demo script here and the inventory demo script. We also have our data models. And if I open up the highscore model, this is what I'm going to use to save my high score. I'm going to save a username string and an unsigned int for the score. And for the inventory, I'm going to save a number of various goods that I have with my player, and he's going to collect some strawberries and melons and lemons and medicine. So it's a very simple model that I'm going to use here. And if I open up my demo scene, I'm going to start with my highscores demo. And I can select my app services controller here, and I need to enter in my app URL. And to get that, I'm going to jump back to my Azure portal. And I can see that my app service has provisioned, and I can copy the URL here. So now I can paste that in. And what I need to do before I start this demo is obviously set up the table. So I need to set up a highscore table, and while I'm there, I might as well set up the inventory table for the next demo. So I'm going to jump back to Azure, and I can type in table, and that will bring up my easy tables. And I just need to set this up initially. So let's connect the database. And select SQL database. And I can create a new database and pick the pricing tier, but I've already set up a free database already. So I'm just going to reuse that. But I do need to enter in my connection string. And OK. OK. And that's creating our connection. It's been created. So now I'm going to select Easy Tables again. Or I can scroll down to it. There you go. And I have to do step 2 here. I've set up my data connection, but I also have to click this initialize button. So I acknowledge that it's going to overwrite all the contents of this, which is okay. Okay, I think I've seen a notification there that some stuff had set up. So let me just refresh this window. Ah, it's being deployed, it should be ready soon. Okay, we'll come back to that. I'll just explain briefly the UI here that we have. We can enter in a player score, or we can, a player username, and then a player score. And we can insert that to the database, we can update it, we can delete the record or the high score. We can also do a lookup to get some of the system properties, such as the date added. And we can also do a get on all the high scores to get a list of high scores, which I'm going to display in this list view here. And I can also get the daily top 10. So I can do a custom query to just say, give me the top 10 items for today. And I can also do a query on a particular property of my model, and in this case I've got a demo of like, give me all the scores that belong to me. So I'm going to filter on the name, and below that I've got these 2 buttons here, hello and generate scores, and what these are is the custom API, and I'll show you how to set that up later. Let's see if our tables are ready to add. Yes, they are. Cool, so let's add a table, and the first one I'm going to call high scores. And you can set the permissions for each table operation. So for insert, I can have a different permission if I so desired, or allow everyone, for example, to read the high scores and make the high score list public. Or I can make sure that people can only read who have signed in by taking authenticated access only. But for now, for this demo, I'm just going to leave it anonymous access. And I'm going to add in another table, inventory. And again, it's just easier to begin with anonymous access. So I'm going to leave that. And if I open up high scores, I can see that I have some system properties here. I get the ID, I get created at, updated at, the version code, and a boolean for whether an item is marked to be deleted or not. Now, the cool thing is that Easy Tables allow me to dynamically add fields or columns to my table. So when I save a high score, it's going to add in a column for my username and a column for my score. And you might notice also that I'm using the data model, and this is part of the app services library that I've created, and this will also bundle your ability to save the ID and the other system properties that you see here. So I can take advantage of the string ID and these dates, as well as the deleted boolean. Okay, so let's try some demos. Let's run this operation and see what we get. Now for now, I haven't set up the login element, but this is optional, so I'm going to come back to that. But I'm going to just create an anonymous high score using my name, David, and put in my score, say 100, a decent first attempt at a game. And I click the insert button to insert that to my high scores table. And here, if I open up my console log, I can see what's going on. And I get a call back saying my insert has completed. It hands me back the ID, tells me when all the system properties, like when it's been created. And I can actually click this high scores button, this read high scores button, to list it in the table on the right here. I can also update my high score, so say I've improved second time round, maybe I get 250 points the next time. I'll update that and refresh the high scores there you go, 250. I can of course just clear that and add in another competitor, and so some dude has got 300 points, insert, and I can refresh that, and there you go, number 1. I can also do a lookup on that and show some of the system properties. So there you go, you can see when the score was added. Or I can also delete. So for example, say someone, a bogus user, posted a score that was ridiculously high, then I could just delete that score from the database, and yeah, it's disappeared now. And just to show you how this looks on Azure, I will refresh the table, and you can see that the bogus high score has been set. The flag for deleted has been set to true, and this will no longer appear in my read results. And you can see my score and the other dude's score. So let's go back to Unity and just try some more things. What I have is a daily top 10. At the minute, this isn't going to look too interesting. Let's add another player to actually clear. Let's clear that player and say player. This new player got 500. Good score. Load that up. And if I want to see the daily top 10, I could see, oh, I'm not doing so well. I could click, I can select my name and it loads up the properties here. I can update my score. So let's say 600, update. And there you go, it's updated. But what I want to do now is just sort of generate some scores to make this list a bit longer. Just to test see how things paginate, because what happens when you get over 50 items is that mobile services or app services will paginate the results. So I want to see how that looks in the table. So I'm going to use custom APIs for this, and to do that I'm going to go back to my app, mobile app, and I'm going to type in API, and I should see easy APIs. So I can select that, and I'm going to add in the two APIs that I need. Hello and I'm going to add in another one. And I'm going to be lazy, and I'm going to copy the name from my README, generate scores. And I'm going to copy some of the snippets that are in the README across here. So let's put in the hello script first. I can edit the script online. And here's the hello snippet that I'm going to copy. So just copy that. And then I can paste that in. And you can see that the status has now saved the changes. I can also, while I'm here, update the generate scores API. And I'm going to copy this snippet. And what this script does is it takes a post and it's going to run a query to insert 10 random high scores into my list. And I'm going to run this a number of times just to generate enough high scores to paginate the results. So I can jump back to Unity and try this. These scripts have saved, so they're ready to use. And in fact, I can just, I don't even need to exit play mode. I can just run it right now. And let's run hello. And what this will do is just return a very simple message, which says hello Unity. I'm going to just update that actually, just to show. You could have this for some new feature in your game. Hey, check out this new feature. So if you wanted to notify your players of a new thing in your game when they open the app, you could call this API and it would send you back some new message that you could display in your app. So let's run that. I'll just click the hello button. Hey, check out this new feature. So I can notify people that way. And I'm just going to generate scores. And it calls back and lets me know that some scores have been set by this Zumo player. And now when I get my list of high scores, I can see, hey, Zumo's there. Let's generate some more and some more. And let's just click it a number of times to generate quite a lot of high scores. And now I have 70 high scores, 73 high scores. Let's generate some more. Let's get over 100. Okay, that might do it. Yeah, we're over 100 now. So what happens is there's a pagination that happens every 50, and this scroll view supports infinite scroll. So as soon as I get past to a certain tolerance at the end, it's going to load in the new items. And I don't know if you noticed, but it did another REST request to pick up the next 50 items. And you can see actually the request here that is set the top parameter to the next 50 and skip at 150. So it handles all that for you. Cool. So I can now see the daily top 10 list, and man, I'm not even on the top 10. So what I might do is search for my name and update my score. Let's give it something nice, 1,000, over 1,000 points definitely. And now when I go to my top 10, I can see I've made it. Cool. So the final piece of this is to set up the Facebook access token here, just to demo how you would handle the Facebook identity. And for this, I'm going to jump back to my README and just follow the steps here. So first thing I need to do is create a Facebook app. And I've already created one here. There's plenty of documentation on how to set this up, but basically the two things that I need is the app ID and app secret. There are some things that you need to set up, like the Facebook login settings, and I will put the documentation in the description of how to set that up. Okay, so I'm going to have to copy these details into my app service. So I'm going to copy the app ID here and jump over to Azure. And if I search for authentication, I'm going to select that. And I want to switch it on. And I'm going to use Facebook. I paste in my app ID. And I also need my app secret. It'll ask me for my password to reveal it. Then I paste in my app secret. I can also select the scope of things that I want access to, but I'm just going to select OK for now, and then save changes. Okay, so now I can use Facebook for authentication. The next thing I need to do is to copy the user access token. So this is going to simulate a login with Facebook. And I copy that and I paste it into Unity. Okay. Now at the minute I'm not handling the user ID. I have nothing in my JSON model. If you remember how that looked, there's no field here for user ID. So there are two ways you can do it. You can certainly put it into your model, or you can do it on the server side. So I'm going to do it on the server side. So I'm going to jump back to Azure and my tables. And the interesting thing is I can also edit the scripts on the tables. So I can go into highscores and go edit script. And I already have my script written here. So I'm going to copy that. Here it is here. So this is the insert script for the highscores table and the inventory table. And I can copy the script in. Just paste it in. And that's saved. And also I'm going to do the same for the inventory table because it needs authentication to work. And this code simply says when I insert an item to my table, I can get the user and add that to the payload that I'm uploading, this item payload. I can set an additional item or property, the user ID, to equal the ID of the user context here. So let's see how that works. At the minute I don't have a user ID column, as you can see, but this script will add it in here. So now when I add or insert a high score, it will also insert the user ID. So I'll call it FB user 123 insert. Oh, I need to log in. That would be handy. Let's pause this. I don't think I've pasted in my access token. Let me grab that. I think I was in play mode when I put it in, and so I lost it. Let's see. So yeah, I'm not in play mode, so that should work now. Okay. Yeah, we've got our user token. I'm gonna log in. And this time, this user will be able to save their ID. So now when I look at the high score list, I can see there the user has saved, the user ID is saved here. Just another interesting thing that I want to show is, because it's fully REST, you can use REST APIs to do operations on the app service table. It might be quite interesting just to show you that you can use Postman to actually try some stuff out. Rather than try everything in Unity, you can just make sure it works in Postman first. It's a lot easier. So I can again copy my URL here, and if I do /tables/highscores, the name of my table. And there's one other thing that I need to add in here under headers, and that is Zumo-API-version, and then for the value 2.0.0. Now I can send that, and I get a JSON response of all my high score items. And there's documentation on how to do all the various queries and other table operations, and I'll put that in the description as well. All right, so that's the high score demo done. Let's have a look at the inventory demo. Again, this is the standard system properties, and we're going to dynamically update the schema when we insert an item. So let's jump back to Unity, and I'm going to grab, stop play mode. I'm going to grab my app URL, and I'm going to open up my inventory demo scene, and under the app services controller, I'm going to paste in my mobile app URL, and I also need to grab my Facebook access token. So I'm going to copy that. Beware that these do expire, so sometimes you might want to refresh the page just to get a new one. And play. So I need to log in for my player inventory. And of course, to start with, I have no items. So let's start off with one item and save it. I have now got one strawberry in my inventory. And I can check this on the easy table. And there you go. It's dynamically added my strawberries and melons and all the various inventory items. And it's also saved my user ID because I added the script on the insert. So let's update some things here. I can say I've picked up some more melons, some more lemons, and some medicine, and save that. Again, this is all just nicely here in the console, so you can see what's going on in the back end. And I can reload those items, and there you go, I get the update. On Azure, I can refresh, and I can see that those items have updated. Again, it's a super handy way of just persisting your game information across different screens, different devices, different OSs. It's totally platform independent. You can publish your app for iOS, Android, Windows Store. So that's that demo done. Just want to show you some other things here. There is a known issue that patch on Android using Unity Web Request isn't supported. So there is a workaround, and I will show you how to set that up actually just now. So another thing, I've shown you that you can edit the script online, but of course you can do this another way. So let's go back to our mobile app here. Okay. And what I want to do is search for deployment. And I go to deployment options and choose source. And for this, in this case, I'm just going to use local Git. So yeah, I've selected local Git. That's okay. Cool. That's been set up. And go to overview, and it'll give me my Git Clone URL as well as the Git Clone username that I've already set that up. So let's copy this Git Clone URL, and I'm just going to clone this to the desktop. Git Clone, paste in my repo here. And I can edit this in code. So, I'll go to the directory and then open the thing up in code. And so again, I can edit actually all my tables and information in there. And I'll just, or even my custom API scripts, so I can change, hey, check out this new feature. I can update that. Hey, check this out. But for what I want to do is edit my app.js file. And let me jump back to my README here. I'm going to install the method override package first. Okay. And what I need to do is put this into my app.js file. So I can paste that in and just tidy this up a little. There you go. And then I want to say use the method override, and that goes just under the var app line. So just under this line, var app, paste it in, app use method override, and save that. And what this has added is a new dependency package. It's added our method override to our package.json. So let's publish this to our mobile app. I'll just do a git add and git commit patch. And then git push. And this is going to install our npm packages and redeploy. And just to show you that it's working, I modified the hello JSON to hey, check this out. So let's run that in Unity just to make sure everything went through. And so I have clicked the hello button, and that should return back the new message. Hey, check this out. Okay, so that's the patch for Android patch. And I think that's everything for this demo. If you want to see any other demos for app services, or if you want to see it on the mobile device, let me know and I'll do another video on it. But that concludes this one for now. Hope you've found it interesting and hope you take advantage of app services with Unity.